This is the first video in a series of videos about PowerPoint 2013 Unit B, which is entitled Modifying a Presentation. After watching this series of videos, you should be able to enter text in an outline view, format text, convert text to SmartArt, insert and modify shapes, rearrange and merge shapes, edit and duplicate shapes, align and group objects, and add slide footers. We're going to be taking a look on pages PowerPoint 26 and 27, in which we're going to enter text in outline view. After watching this video, you should be able to enter text in the outline view and create a new slide. Now you can enter presentation text by typing directly on the slide in the slide pane, or if you need to focus on the text of the presentation, you can enter text in outline view. Text in outline view is organized so that the headings, or slide titles, appear at the top of the outline. Each subpoint, or each line of bulleted text, appears as one or more indented lines under the title. Each indent in the outline creates another level of bulleted text on the slide. Now if we take a look at step 1 on page PowerPoint 26, it tells you that you need to go ahead and open up this file from Course Sites and download this to your computer. And this is the pptb-1.pptx file. And you need to download this from Course Sites. And once you do that, you want to go ahead and click on Enable Editing, and that way so that you can edit this presentation. And then next we want to go ahead and click on our File tab, and then Save As, and then you want to save this either to your My Documents or to your home directory on there. You can click on Computer and then Browse, and then you want to save it to either the Documents or your home directory. In my case, I'm going to save it to the desktop, and we want to save this file as ppt space b-qst. And then of course we don't have to type in the .pptx because that is the file extension for a PowerPoint presentation, which if we notice down here in the Save As type, PowerPoint presentation has the little wildcard character .pptx, so you do not need to type in the .pptx. Once you have that, just go ahead and click on Save. And now we're ready to move on to step number 2. Now, of course, a quick tip beforehand. If you need to open up a PowerPoint 97 to 2007 presentation in PowerPoint 2013, you need to open the presentation and then click the File tab. And of course, if you're doing that, you can click on the File tab. And then, of course, you can click on the Convert button and then name the file in the Save As dialog box. And of course that would be, if you're in the Save As, you can always go into and switch this down here in the Save As type. You can switch this and actually save this as different ones. So if you were going to need to open this up in previous versions such as 97 or 2003, you would need to save it underneath this version, which is a .ppt file extension instead of the .pptx, which we are currently saving it in. But going back to step 2 now, step 2 tells us that we want to click on the Slide to Thumbnail, and that's in the Thumbnails pane, which is over here on the left-hand side. And then it tells us that we want to click the New Slide button list arrow in the Slides group, and that's on the Home tab. Once we do that, that's on this bottom part here with the little down pointing arrow. We click on that, and it tells us that we now want to click on Title and Content, because these are our different layouts that we can choose from, but we want to choose the Title and Content. Once we have that, we now see that a new slide, which is now slide number 3, has now appeared with the Title and Content layout, and it appears below the current slide, which is now below slide 2 on there now. Step 3 tells us that now we need to click on the View tab up here, which is on the ribbon, and then we need to click the Outline View button, and that is over here in the Presentation Views, and that's over here on the left hand side. There's the Outline View, and when we click on that, we now notice that the text of the presentation appears in the Outline pane. So instead of having a Thumbnails pane and then the Slide pane, we now have an Outline pane as well, which is next to the Slide pane. Now the slide icon and the insertion point for slide 3 are highlighted, indicating that it is selected and it's ready to accept text. Now text that you enter next to a slide icon becomes the title for that slide. And in step 4, we're going to input in the title for that slide. And in step 4, it tells us that we want to type in Atlantic Region Stations. And of course you'll notice that in the slide pane over here that it is putting that in as the title. Then it tells us to press enter. And when we press enter, we notice that we get a new slide. However, we don't want a new slide, we want to now input in content. And to do that, we need to press our tab key. And when we press our tab key, then we see that now we're ready to input in some bulleted text. Because when you pressed enter after typing the title, that is when you create a new slide. But because you want to enter bulleted text on slide 3 instead of making slide 4, you press the tab key, and that way so the text that you will type will be entered in as a bulleted text on slide 3. Now if you're wanting to make this bulleted text be a level 2 bullet, you can just hit your tab key again as well. So that is utilizing the tab key. And of course, as we learned in the first unit, in Unit A, we can always hit our Shift and tab key to go back. So if I would hit my Shift tab, we notice that it would take us back to a new slide. Or I can hit my tab key and that takes us back to the tab text. In step number 5, it tells us that we want to type in the word Halifax. Then press our enter key. Then type in Moncton, which is M-O-N-C-T-O-N. Then press enter. Then Gasp, G-A-S-P-E. Then press enter. Then type in Sussex. Press enter. And Amherst. And then press enter. And of course, each time you press enter, you'll notice that instead of creating a new slide, on this case, the insertion point moves down one line. So every time you press enter, it's always going to, when you're in the bulleted text, it's always going to create a new bullet. So it's going to keep it on the same slide, but just have a new bullet. On step 6, this is where we're going to press our Shift and Tab key, and that's going to get us on there because we're wanting to now create a new slide on there. We're moving this back. So when we press the Shift tab, and it tells us because you are working in outline view, a new slide with the same layout as slide 4 is created for you when you press the Shift tab key. So now here we want to make in a new slide, and we're going to call this and title this slide. So we're just going to type in, which is on step 7, we're going to type in Atlantic Region Tour Packages. However, this time we're going to press the Control key on our keyboard and enter. And of course, once we hit Control Enter, we're going to type in Adventure, then press enter, and then Cultural, and press enter. Then Shopping, and press enter, and then finally type in Wildlife. Now when we press Control to enter, you probably notice instead of making a brand new slide on there, when we press Control enter while the insertion point is in the title text object, it then moves the cursor directly into the content placeholder, so it does not automatically start in a brand new slide and moves it to the title placeholder of the next slide. So it just moves it down to the content placeholder. And of course, that's your quick tip as well. When you press the Control Enter while the cursor is in the text object to create a new slide with the same layout as the previous slide. So that Control Enter is a very powerful keystroke in PowerPoint here, because it will allow you to either go through there and if your cursor is in the text object, you can go through and move it to the next kind of object that's on there, whether if you're in the current text object here, if I would press Control Enter, you would notice it would give me a new slide. However, if I hit undo, when we were in the title slide, or the title placeholder, it took us down to the content placeholder. So that is one area that you do need to pay attention, that the Control Enter key moves you to the next content placeholder on the slide. And if there's not one, it will create one for the next slide. Next, on step 8, it tells us that we want to position the pointer on the slide 3 icon. So we're over here to the slide 3 icon in the outline pane, which is over here to the left. And you'll notice that the pointer is going to change to a 4-headed white arrow. And the Atlantic Region Station slide, which is slide 3, is currently out of order. So we're going to rearrange this slide. And to do this, on step 9, it tells us that we're going to click this, and we're going to drag this down until a horizontal indicator, which you can faintly see it right now. You can see it moving a little bit right there on, in the outline view, or in the outline pane. It's moving down right now. And we want this to appear above the slide 5 icon. So you want to put it just directly below wildlife that's on there. Once we have that line right there, you can then release your mouse button, and now we'll notice that the 3rd slide has moved down and switched places with the 4th slide. So your 3rd slide should be the Atlantic Region Tour Packages, and the 4th slide should be the Atlantic Region Stations. Finally, on step 10, it tells us that we want to click the normal button on the status bar down here. And this will take us back to our normal view, and then we can click on our Save button in our Quick Access toolbar up here as well. And of course, when we click on the normal button, the outline pane will close, and the thumbnails pane is now visible in our window. Now, on page PowerPoint 27, it talks a little bit about using proofing tools for other languages. Now, if you have a presentation in another language, how would you ever check the spelling and grammar of that presentation? Every version of PowerPoint contains a language pack with a primary language such as either English, Italian, or Arabic. Each language package includes additional languages other than the primary language. For example, English language pack also includes French and Spanish. So let's say you have an English version of PowerPoint and you want to check the spelling of a presentation that is written in French. To check the spelling of a French presentation, click the text object on the slide, and then click the Review tab on the ribbon, and then click the Language button in the Language group. Then click the Set Proofing Language to open the Language dialog box, and then click one of the French options from the list, and then click OK. Only languages in the list with a spelling symbol are available to use for the checking spelling and grammar. Now when you check the spelling, PowerPoint will do so in French. If your version of PowerPoint does not have the language you want to use, you can purchase a different language packs from Microsoft. Now make sure that you do save your work, and now you are ready to move on to the next video.